we're here for my final masterclass of 2024, the Secret XYZ Code for Career Clarity. And I am excited to have you here. Let me just start sharing my slides. I also just want to check that people, actually, sorry, before we start, did anyone not get the worksheet? I'll cover that in a moment too, but I'll just, Paul, Paul being my tech, my husband is going to drop a link in the chat in case you did not receive receive that. So let me just start sharing here, making sure that you are all in the right place. And thank you to other guests who are coming in, again, for being so punctual. So here we are at the Secret XYZ Code for Career Clarity, and you'll get a link to these slides as well for being here as live attendees too. So thank you for that. And I'll invite you, if it is meaningful for you, you're welcome to join me. I'm making an acknowledgement for myself that where I live, work and play is located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples of the Kikite First Nations. And I'll invite you to have something to write on. You might be a digital person. I'm a paper and pen person myself. So if you want to grab something to write on, I'm hoping there would be at least one insight and a takeaway for you. So grab that, something to record on, or you can use the worksheet that I'll be directing you to shortly. You're also welcome to pop any comments in the chat and emojis. If there's questions that I covered either during the session or there is a questions time later on in this session that we'll be doing today. This will be a taste of what I do with clients, but I'm hoping something will inspire you and give you some ideas for yourself of career clarity as well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rachel Newton. I'm a career energy coach, and I've been doing this work for over 14 years since I did my own career pivot from tech into the helping profession. And I help clients escape their soul-destroying career, and they are then able to discover how to be unapologetically them and find their superpowers within to work their dreams. So the tagline of my practice is work your dream. And I also developed one of the methods that I use with my clients called the Entrada method. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. So thank you again for being here. The worksheet that for those who are here live, and there's a link there that you can download the worksheet, and I'll just briefly stop sharing here so to show you what is in the worksheet. You're welcome to use it if it's useful and helpful for you, or it could be something and as a resource for later on. So I'll just very briefly cover that with you. Okay, so this is you'll receive a simpler one that you get just because this one is quite rich in text and graphics. My wonderful assistant Daisy created this for me and makes things very pretty, but that also makes them a bit hard to send because they're so big. But the one that you get will have the information, maybe just not the pretty graphics. And so just to let you know that this is a prompt to help you follow along, as I said, or maybe later on it might be helpful for you to recall. And this is what's in the document for the worksheet. And hopefully there's something in there, as I said, that will be helpful for you. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of the worksheet. And then let me just keep on going here. And whether you're listening to this live or, whether you're here live, there'll also be a replay, and I will include a link for the worksheet for the people who are watching the replay. So welcome. What we're going to be exploring today in terms of our agenda is that we're going to shortly set an intention, and then I'm going to share a case study of one of my clients, and using this framework I'm going to be sharing with you today, the secret XYZ code to career clarity. And then I will reveal what the code is for you. And if there's I have actually a couple of questions already, but if there's any further questions, we'll be covering those as well. And I will also give you some time for some takeaways and insights. So hopefully something will bubble up for you, and tell you about the hidden job market hints that I'm going to be preparing over the next few days, and let you know about that. Also, the giveaway for my wonderful in-session attendees. So that is our agenda we're going to be covering here today. And let's just start off with, for a moment, just a minute, I'm going to invite you to set an intention. And the intention, if it is helpful for you, is to help you focus. And you have this precious time that you're investing here. So what would you like to have out of this time? And I'm going to be quiet for a minute to give you some thinking time as well. Hopefully you have something there, and if you're catching the replay, if you need more time, you're welcome to pause. Let me tell you about one of my clients who came to me very lost in his career. Is in his late 40s and a tech director in one of the communications companies here in Vancouver. He was feeling very stagnant, complacent in the work that he was doing, and also undervalued, and was having some struggles with the work that he was doing in terms of management and communications, and felt that he was feeling unfulfilled, and it was a well-paying job, and he knew that it wasn't working for him, but it was hard to leave because it was so well paying at the same time. So that's what I'm calling the golden handcuffs. And he always had this feeling that there must be something more. And so when he came to me, that was what his experience was. And then we started working together, and during the time we were working together, he was actually made redundant and pushed out, and his department was outsourced to India, and that was a really big blow for him. It was really hard to take that. He had been wanting to leave, but he wanted to leave on his own terms, and so even though he received a package, it was still a big blow, and there was a lot of emotion around that, which is understandable. And so we worked together and used some pieces of the XYZ code. There was more that we did too, but there was very much the base and the foundation of this framework that we worked together and did with him for the XYZ code. And it helped him have some options. And out of that, he realized that he needed to take a break after he'd had so much stress and career anxiety in his role. And the outcome from that was that he realized when he did come to find a new role, it was in a smaller company and it was a startup here in Vancouver. He became the director of customer success because his superpower was a technology whisperer. And we came to that because he was one of those people who was very good with the technology, but able to make it very simple to speak to across all levels of the company. So from people enmeshed and developing the tech in the trenches to the C-suite and being able to help the C-suite understand what was happening. And that he's much happier now in what he's doing. But it was through helping him come to some insights and realizations, and then he was able to feel unstuck and take some action from the work that we did together. I was basically his thought partner in that work. And just incidentally, as an update, a year later, the company that had laid him off, made him redundant, was actually bought out by another company in the communications sector. So I think he actually had ended up being a blessing in disguise, although it was very hard to go to at the time. This quote from Robin Sharma really, for me, helps distill down the importance of clarity. And I'm wondering how it might resonate for you. If anyone's feeling brave, they're welcome to drop an emoji or a comment in the chat, or perhaps you're just wanting to take it in. The quote is, "Clarity precedes mastery. Craft clear and precise plans, goals, deliverables, and then block out all else." And my hope is that that would be your experience too, when you're able to find some clarity. Coming to the secret XYZ code to career clarity, there are 3 variables, and the idea around this is for my technology clients, there's a software development life cycle, and a simplified version of this is I'm taking the idea of a career development life cycle. Oh, okay, I just realized, I'm not sharing, am I? Am I? Sorry. Did you mean to raise your hand, Paul? Oh, I'm not sharing. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so, okay, sorry, I went to the other thing. So I'll just quickly go back to, sorry about that, everyone. You go back to the, so this was the, I think it was when I was after the worksheet. So the intention, and then this was just the outline of what was happening with my client, finding his way. And then when he realized he was a technology whisperer as his superpower. So I apologize for that. And let me, okay, so, and here's the quote again from Robin Sharma: "Clarity precedes mastery. Craft clear and precise plans, goals and deliverables, and then block out all else so you can have that focus." And now the secret code to career clarity. And the idea around this is a career development life cycle. In the software development life cycle, there's some stages that you go through. And this is a simplified version if you are referencing the software development life cycle. And the idea is that my hope is that something here will help you be able to be inspired. Maybe you'll have your own ideas about what the XYZ code is for you. And then to be able to take action and shift from your career complacency or stuckness to career clarity. You actually do have the resources and the answers, but you may not feel like it at times. My idea is to support you and give you a shortcut to get there faster. And this is all about you. So thinking about a project, I'll often say to my clients, you're the project. So this is project you. And so the first step here is X-ray. And the idea is a self-examination at this stage. So looking at what you have in terms of where you are, and you might even have your own words for X-ray, for X, like you could say something exclusive, exclusively used, or you, or the user experience. That I said about self-examination. I know that X's are embedded in there, but extolling your virtues, and so all these to help you work out what to do next. And then here is where we're going to assess and do some data collection. And the offering here is to be really honest about where you are now. So know where you are so you can plan where to go. And looking at the good, the bad, and the awesome. And so there's going to be some aspects that are going to feel positive for you. There's going to be negative. And then also remembering that you're awesome and you do have a lot of talents and strengths. It may sometimes be challenging to be able to see that. And as I said earlier, by doing this assessment and having this self-examination and X-ray and looking at your life and where it is to help you be able to plan where you're going. And this is a data collection time of looking at your skills, your values, your strengths, and being able to have that remembering how resourceful you are, the resources you do have, the experience and knowledge, and also calling on your network, whatever that network might be. And now we come to the second piece of code, which is the why, and that's you. So this is all about you, and this is the needs and the requirements stage. And so being able to work out, okay, so what do you need now? And what are the steps in that? So the first question here to ask yourself is, what do I need now? I've got it here as what do you need now, but what do you need now? And it could be, do you need to take stock and reassess where you are? Or maybe it is that, okay, no, I actually just need a job and I just need to get going. And so being really realistic and truthful with yourself, which can be hard sometimes too, but taking stock there. And also determining what's important for you in that. Could it be, if you have been in a situation like my client where there's been golden handcuffs, could it be an opportunity or a time to break free from that? And if you do that, would you be able to pursue something that is more meaningful and fulfilling, something that helps you express your creativity more? So there's some inquiries to ask as you're gathering your needs, as you are working out what you are going to have as your requirements to then move forward. And we're stacking this on. So first you've collected your data and now you have gathered these requirements, you're working out what your needs are. And then the last part is zany. So like this little boy here of, be zany and dream big, and the bigger the better. Be as limitless as possible. And, being able to speak to that and help you be innovative and to innovate here. So finding and making changes to there might be an established thinking that you've been used to, and now you're going to shake it up and introduce some new ideas or products. A word that's around a lot these days is disruption. So how can you disrupt your own experience and thinking to be able to innovate? And dream big. The bigger, the better that you can dream. And again, that might seem challenging at times, but the more that you can aim for and be dreaming about and aspiring to, that can actually help open up your imagination more in this zany, this way of visualizing more. And then this last, sorry, it's not the last, but this next one is about being limitless. So one of the mentors from afar, from one of my mentors from afar, Jim Kwik, talks about being limitless, and there's this much space between succeeding and being stuck in challenging. And Jim Kwik will say it's like the space between your ears. And so it's really, how are we talking to ourselves and what are we saying to ourselves that could be keeping us stuck? And that comes into what I call the innovative mindset. So how can you push past that and be able to be zany and push your limits for yourself? So being able to channel and focus that creativity you have, and to be able to help you have different options. Then the last part is that to remember that this is, it's important, but it doesn't have to be serious. And in Chinese medicine, one of my modalities, when you smile, it actually helps your energy, gives you an energy boost. So if it can be, sometimes it can be hard to smile when we're feeling down and emotional, but if you can find something to make yourself smile or laugh or in this process, even if it is laughing at yourself or having someone else to inspire that, I would encourage that. So the codes here are to the assessment stage, which is the X-ray, and then your needs. So what are your needs that are going to meet your requirements wherever you are in the transition process, in the career transition process? And then the zany is having that vision. And what I'll often hear from clients when I talk about visioning and to innovate and looking to the future is that clients will say, I don't have any imagination, I'm not creative, Rachel. But we're talking about this dreadful future that they're seeing in front of them. And I'll ask them gently about, that sounds like you're envisaging a future that is unsupportive. So what if you were able to channel that into a supportive future? And you may not be able to do it on your own. You may need some support, which is where your resources and your network would come in. And that's what I would invite. So I'm not seeing any questions about any of that. And so this is my little, this is my questions, asking if there's any questions that anyone wants to add. But I had a couple of questions when I was talking to some clients and also some peers about this. And one of them was about golden handcuffs. So does anyone already have an idea about what golden handcuffs is that anyone wanted to venture? If anyone's feeling brave to drop anything in the chat. Okay, Everyone's being shy today. So that's fine. So the golden handcuffs here could be anything from a high-paying role, and it's high paying, but it's high stress, it's making you miserable, all the way to especially in tech, when you've got vested options and or your bonuses don't get realized for a few months out or up to 5 years out. And so the hook keeps on coming each time you have an evaluation, that you won't get that payout until much later in the future. So that can be a couple of ways. Even good benefits and having a health plan and RSPs. So all of those sorts of aspects can also act like golden handcuffs. And they're golden because they are valuable, but they're handcuffs because they keep you trapped and miserable. So just to let you know, because some people knew what that term was and then some people didn't. And then, so the other was in terms of gathering requirements. And for gathering requirements, it really is being able to get that data and that information about yourself. And so, the data and information was at the first level, but the gathering requirements is like, what are your needs? And so to be really specific about what you need in terms of your next steps. So what do you need your next role to look like? And could there be compromises that you're willing to make for certain areas that they might, not be fully aligned with your values, but there might be some payoff or compromise that you could be making. So that was to answer the question about the gathering requirements there. And I will keep moving on as people are proceeding here. And I'm wondering if from what I've spoken about so far and the XYZ code, that if there is an insight or a takeaway from the time that we've spent, what's been helpful. So I'm just going to give you a minute or two, and if someone is, as I said, feeling brave and wanted to drop something into the chat, you're welcome to, or you could even open up your mic if you're wanting to speak up loud instead of putting in the chat. So I'll just be quiet for a minute or two so you can be jotting something down there. Oh, sorry, I'm not. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry, I didn't have my chat open. Okay. Oh, sorry, Carol, I'm going to go back for that, to the question. So creating an email list in an authentic way. So really, I actually, I'm laughing because, and let me just I'm going to stop sharing for a moment here. I'm laughing because for me, I don't know if I know I have like some lovely people who have come here, and I have some wonderful clients too, but I'm not sure if I'm the expert on tips for marketing emails, Carol, but what I will say is I've learned for myself of just doing some testing in terms of being able to have my own voice and not talk and not use too many words. So I do a mixture of making things short and sweet, and really just I'll do a few drafts before I actually put something out, and then I have a team of between friends and family to be able to give me some feedback, which is a way that I'm using my network as a resource. And I'm going to also flip. So Carol, does that give you Is that giving you some a little bit, or do you want me to elaborate a little bit more?
Hi, Rachel. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol.
Yeah, so also I like that idea once I have people to email to, but the clients I have are not convertible to coaching clients. So the second part of my question, which is more, how do you even go about? I mean, is giving webinars the only way to get
Oh,
people on a
okay.
list?
Sorry.
Because I can
Yeah.
go and give talks and stuff, but in the area where I live, it's people are not saying, oh yeah, come to my salon or come to they're just, unless there's something in it for them and they don't really in my experience, they don't keep connected. Or they'll reach out and I'll say, yes, I'd like to connect, and I'll never hear from them again. So that's over the years, that's the experience I've had with trying to find somewhere where I could attain a separate email list for coaching clients only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've just been doing a lot of for me it's the process of doing a lot of creating a lot of content and offering that to clients. And I know what you mean about from a therapy from your therapy list, but I have my newsletter, and then so I I I don't think that I'm the best person to answer this question, Carol. I'm going to be very transparent.
No
Um,
worries. No
yeah,
worries.
so that's not my expertise, but I'm happy offline for us to have a chat and have a brainstorm. But I would like to, if I can. So is that okay if we take that offline, Carol?
Sure, sure. And I also want to add separately, sorry, there's noise in the background, that I did know somebody that was in a situation of golden chains. They were in a family business and they were not being treated well. Like the other family members were being given more than this person, and they were taking advantage of him. But he stayed because they would pay for his extras, give him a car, pay for. So that's where I learned about the golden chains.
Oh, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And that is like it can that extra enmeshment of family plus business plus these a type of benefit of like what you're receiving in terms of compensation that can make it even tougher as well. So thank you for sharing that, Carol. I would like to actually speak to the part your question about emailing and being authentic is actually I just want to pick something up for clients who are listening to this in regards to being able to have an email outreach to your network, helping you with finding your next career opportunity in a transition. So that of forming having a elevator pitch that is something to be able to help you distill that down, what your message is, what you're wanting. So once you have your clarity about what it is that you're looking for and wanting to move to, then being able to take that and put it into a short email and having that to help your network find you, help you find opportunities as well. So thank you for asking about the email. I know it wasn't in the directly answering your question, Carol, because that's not my expertise and I want to stay in my lane. But it makes me think of being able to offer to clients to help how you can help leverage your network in that way. So thank you for that.
Yes, and
Um,
I agree with what you said about the authenticity part. It's just, really offering from your heart, what is your thing, and what is your, as many say, the elevator speech, what are you representing? And I'm working on that. So thank you for the
yeah, not
support.
at all. And that's also part of can be a challenging thing in the career search too, of like branding our authenticity and working out how, because we're not used to talking about ourselves. And so being able to say that aloud and extol our virtues and strengths and all the things that are good about ourselves, and be brave enough and courageous enough to say that aloud to people is often a conversation I'll have with clients as well, even from like a resume perspective too. And so it's like resumes, putting your resumes together and the letters there, and then also in regards to talking to how you talk about it with friends in your network and people in your who could help you with that. So thank you for that again, Carol. So let me just come back here and see maybe there's some extra takeaways or information that have come out of that regarding takeaway or insight. So I'll give you a minute with that and see if there's anything that pops up. And again, if you're feeling brave to pop it into the chat, you're more than welcome to. I'm just writing something down too of my insights. Thank you. Okay, so hopefully there was something there that resonated with you. And so as we are starting to wind down, reminding you of where we've been today, we set an intention. I shared with you my client and the Entrada case study. And then we talked about the secret XYZ code, and I revealed the elements of X-Ray, U, and Zany. And Carol, thank you for the questions. And hopefully you wrote down something as a takeaway or an insight too. And highlighting it here for you once again, those elements of X-Ray, U, and Zany to help you unlock your career clarity. And again, perhaps this has inspired you to think of what would your variables be for X, Y, and U. Is it the ones that I have spoken with you about, those elements, or is it something different? Perhaps you disagree? And then that could also be grist for the mill of what else could there be if that's not resonated with you as well. And that's one way that I offer to be a thought partner with you and help you do that. And I know personally that making a career change and transition is a challenge. I wandered the vocational desert for over 2 decades until I finally worked with my own career coach 15 plus years ago now. And she was able to help me come and to find this work. But it certainly wasn't an easy journey. And my hope is that I can help you get there faster if we are able to partner together, or you'll find someone else who would be a support for you. Or maybe you know someone already and this might inspire you and encourage you to reach out to them, but you don't have to do it alone is what I'm offering. And whether or not you, as I said, it would be with me, or perhaps you would like to have access to the resources in my membership, which is another way that I can support you, or even going back and watching the resources here from my YouTube channel and my website. And then the bonus Entrada, I was going to do a final masterclass for 2024, and then looking at my calendar and doing a poll with some of my clients, and I've realize that it's such a busy time of the year. And so I'm going to try something different. I've done a version of this in the past, but this is what I'm offering is to basically chop down and to break down the what I would put in a 45-minute masterclass, and that feels like a big chunk of time for people at this time of the year as we wind down 2024 and the holiday season is upon us. And so I'm going to be offering 5 to 10 minute little intrada moments, I'm calling them, and I'll start that on Friday at 10:30 in the morning Pacific, and I'll be going live, and that will be available for you. And then I'm going to put all of those together with the resources, and in the new year, everyone who is here and anyone else who is interested listening to this as a replay, if you contact me by email and let me know that you would like access to it as a little mini course, I'm going to offer that to you. And that is as a sorry that I wasn't able to do this masterclass a week ago that was scheduled, and I know some of you signed up for that, and so thank you for coming back and just offering that as an apology, and hopefully that makes up for my poor computer and my lack of technology. So I would love to hear when that I've finished that after Tuesday or into next year, if that is going to be helpful for you. So finally, the giveaway. So I'm just going to have a look at I'm going to just stop sharing here and just see who we still have here for. So we've got 3 people here, and I've got 2 sessions to give away. So there's really high odds. And talking about marketing, some people would say, oh, you shouldn't say how few people that you have coming live to your events, Rachel, but I'm going to be authentic. So this is me gaining traction. Anyway, so I have my little box here. I'm doing old school. And I've got, okay, so I did see who pre-registered. There was one person I didn't recognize in the iPhone, or I don't know if that was someone coming back from iPhone and then coming back in. But anyway, so I have just to show you, I've got my 3 names here of people, and I'm going to drop them in to my box. So my holiday box, and I'm going to pull out number 1. Oh, that was you, Francesca. Okay, thank you. So number 1 is Paul. So my husband's Paul, but he's not in the draw. So this is Paul. You know that. So congratulations, Paul. So a thumbs up. I'm glad that you like that. And blah, 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 blah. Okay, the other one. Oh, Francesca. So sorry, Carol. But Francesca and Paul, I will be getting in touch with you, feeling all tingly and excited to be offering that for you. And yes, thank you. It's a gift for me too, for you to be here, Francesca. Thank you for the emojis. That lights me up too. So I just want to also let you know, after all that excitement, that I have here, there is a Career Clarity workbook. I should just share the actual workbook, not just show it on the screen. But I just want to quickly show you what you're going to receive here as your bonus for being a live attendee. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but just to give you a sneak peek of that for the workbook. Okay, here we go. So that's the actual workbook. So you'll be receiving a link for this in the next couple of days. And I'm not saying that you have to go through all of this but maybe there might be some information in here that could give you some ideas, or maybe we'll refer to it together. And so again, Daisy put this together, and but it's actually more, so there's some exercises at the front. I know I'm going really fast, but it's more just I want to just point out to you some of the exercises. Like I gathered some popular resources that have been really helpful for clients. And so there's the clarity tool, and these are things to help you from that first phase for the X of like, okay, so let's assess where I am, and X-ray for self-inquiry. And here's another one that is also, it's a 360. We might remember that from work, but this is a personal 360. And again, another way of some deeper self-inquiry. And then 21 pondering questions. So you might have your own questions, or you might want to go through these questions. So these are all for the X part. And then in terms, and it starts to blend into the U too. But so meaning and purpose, these are always parts of what I'll discuss with clients. And so there's some resources here to speak to that. And then also there's some further questions here. And this is actually from an earlier, what I had done as an earlier masterclass last year. But these are questions that are worth repeating here, and again, to help you get further into, what's feeling, where's the stuckness, and then being able to shift from that. So there's some more questions in there to help scrape away. Another resource there about that's a great. Mike Steger is like one of my heroes in positive psychology, and he's an amazing and inspiring speaker. When I grow up, I want to be like Mike. So visualization to help you with that innovation and the being zany, to be able to dream bigger. And so there's some resources here, and then some questions here to ask yourself about this experience. So you'll have all of that as a link, as I said, in the by the end of the week. I just need to, Daisy made it so big, we actually need to chunk it down because it's too big to be able to send as it is. So she gets a bit excited sometimes. So yeah, we just need to kind of edit some of the graphics out. So it might not look as pretty there. It'll be a simplified version, but that's for you as a bonus. And thanks again for staying live until the end here. And then finally, just coming back to my, that's the wrong one. Okay. My PowerPoint as we finish up here, and being mindful of your precious time. Just as a big thank you. And there is there's a code you can scan here. And but I'll also be following up with a feedback link if you would like to. And if you are giving me feedback, as again, because that's going to take more time for you, it's also helpful for me, is that in addition to join with my members who are in my membership, but I'll be offering a strength session workshop, and it'll be online, but I'm going to offer that to anyone who is wanting to give me some feedback there, and that'll be at the end of January, early February, and I'll work that out, and I'll give you more information about that. But you'll be, as a thank you, you'll be able to attend for free, but it will be a paid workshop. And the and then my contact information. So you all know, but for people who don't know me, here's my contact information. Thank you so much, everyone. Just checking that there's no other Oh yes, it will be, you will receive it, Francesca, to your emails. Yes. So you don't have to worry about doing anything. You'll get a link, and actually what's going to happen is the replay and everything with the resources is going to be collected into one of my courses. Thank you. Thanks, Francesca. It's going to be collected into one of my courses, and thank you for the hearts and emojis too. And so because again, you've put your time here and been so engaged, you will receive a link to that course for being here live in session with me today, and that will have all the resources and everything in it. So that will come to you in the next week or so. It takes a bit to put that together, and in the meantime, the replay, if you're really needing the information straight away, will be on YouTube, and then all the links and the resources will come to you next week. And if there's something that you must have earlier than that, sooner than next week, and you don't get it in time, just ask and I can send you the individual one rather than it being all big in the documents. So thank you everyone for being here again. Paul and Francesca, I will be in contact with you shortly for booking your sessions and send you the session booking links for that. And Carol, thank you for being here. Thank you for anyone watching the replay, and my tech Paul today. Thank you for keeping me organized and on track and making sure I'm sharing my slides and everything. I'm going to just finish up of just, if anybody just wants to, you can do it in your head, or it doesn't have to be out loud or in chat, but I offer to clients at the end of the session, if it's helpful, if there's a word, a phrase, an image, or a symbol of our time together today. So I'll leave that for you as we sign off here today. My name's Rachel Newton, and I look forward to supporting you in your journey, however and wherever that may be. Thank you, everyone. Take good care.
Thanks, Rachel.
Oh, thanks, Paul. Lovely for you to be here. Thank you. Thanks again, Francesca. Did you have any questions, Carol and Francesca? Oh, yes, me too. Thank you, Francesca. I look forward to our meeting as well.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel. I look forward to that on Thursday. And that was a great meeting. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you again for being here and being so patient, because I know that you waited a whole week for
Yeah.
that round. So
Yeah, it was worth it. So
thank you for saying that. Thank you. That means a lot to me.
I'll see you Thursday.
Okay, have a good evening.
You too, Rachel. Bye-bye, dear. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thanks, Carol, for being here. Did you have any other questions, Carol? I'll stop the recording just in case there's let me just stop the recording here.